Yeah, so I had set everything up for the camera before we started, but I didn't realize that I should have zoomed in on it.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, oh, give me a second.
No worries.
Hey, you dorks, this is Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you are listening to The Dorkening.
Hi, I'm Brian Johnson, and although you probably accidentally stumbled across it and have no idea why you're watching it, you are in fact watching The Dorkening.
Hello, this is Tom Kenny, voice actor, the voice of the Ice King on Adventure Time, and SpongeBob SquarePants. Meow. Oh, Gary the Snail, too. Hey, guess what you're filling your eye holes and ear holes with? The Dorkening! Oh, I love The Dorkening. Very popular in Ooh. And Bikini Bottom.
Hi, I'm Lou Ferrigno. You're watching The Dorkening. And you know what? You don't like me when I get angry, so don't get me angry. You better keep watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, this is Felissa Rose, and you're watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, it's Courtney Palm. We're shooting Death House, and you're watching The Dorkening.
This is Anthony Michael Hall, and you're watching The Dorkening. Stay tuned, my friend's going to show you what entertainment's all about, baby.
The Dorkening.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You're watching Creator Spotlight, powered by the Dorkening Podcast Network. And as always, well, not as always, as of recently, Brandon. How's it going?
As of recently, indeed. Thank you, Leo.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I know this is a special night for us, but it's a special show. This is going to be awesome. We are speaking to the one and only Deborah Voorhees. How's it going today?
Oh, I'm doing terrific. How are you guys?
Doing great. So glad you joined us. When we had Dee Wallace on, she was like, you got to speak to Deborah. And we reached out. And thank you so much with talking with us. You have a new movie, 13 Fanboy, and it's coming out, I believe, physical media and VOD. When can we expect it?
Right. It's October 22nd. And anybody can go to 13fanboy.com and find out all the locations. We have select theaters across the United States. And we also have about every major platform out there that will be streaming it. And yeah, so and we'll be in London too.
Oh, wow.
In November. Cool. So
very cool. So you know, when you look at your history and 13 Fanboy, some people think, oh, this is, there's a ton of Friday the 13th type movies, but that's not what this is about. Would you like to describe it?
No, it's not at all. But it is related. I guess you could call it more of a spinoff. It is about an obsessed fan who is stalking the actors from Friday the 13th and as well as Halloween, which Dee Wallace, of course, was in Halloween. She's my leading lady. And it's a very intense thriller, horror film as well, and a whodunit. You don't know who it is until the very end. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. COVID slowed us down a little bit, but we're on track again and super excited about it.
Awesome.
That's outstanding.
Yeah. Brandon, I'm going to let you take it over because I'm loading a new trailer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Let me see here. Am I still sounding muddled to you, by the way?
A little bit.
Oh, well, that's no bueno. Sorry. Anyway, Deborah, like Leo said, thank you so much for coming on. We were really excited at the prospect of being able to speak to you, and to see it come to fruition is quite fantastic.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no, seriously, the pleasure is all ours. I saw the trailer for this movie, and I'm a big old horror head, and I can't wait to see it. I've been ticking down. Like Leo's like, and what day is that coming out? I'm like, Friday. It's coming out Friday. Jeez, Leo. Like every fiber of my being wanted to scream out, but I was like, I guess professionalism wins out this time. Once, Leo, just once.
My brain is mush, so it's yeah.
Yeah, that's the ticket.
Yeah.
But no, it was really great seeing so many different people show up in this project. It's incredible. Like I was tickled pink.
Thank you.
Even Corey Feldman, which was like,
right.
That's awesome.
One of the things that's interesting is that all of the actors from Friday the 13th and Dee Wallace from Halloween are playing themselves, with the exception of Corey. There's a couple things there. One, it's a little different to ask somebody to come on and play a character who is being stalked by a murderous fanboy. It's another thing to ask them to play themselves being stalked. That adds a new level of fear and discomfort. And with the reason Corey didn't play himself in the film, one, it was his personal choice. And because of that, we also then decided to have him do a role of this really creepy producer. And that doesn't fit Corey. That's not who he is. And so, but he is a blast. He's absolutely hysterical in the role. He really is. He's definitely our comic relief.
Nice.
Awesome.
The trailer just finished loading, so I'm going to play it. And when it comes back, we'll talk more about 13 Fanboy and your career as well. And also, this was an Indiegogo, which was exciting as well. But we'll play the trailer.
When I was a kid, my dad used to lock me in the basement when I was bad. thing I had to keep me company was a stack of VHS tapes. Friday the 13th and Halloween. The entire sagas. You all became my family. So I wrote and I wrote. But you never wrote back.
Friday the 13th actress Tiffany Helm was found stabbed to death late last night. Some reports are even saying her head was completely severed.
Is it true that you were in Friday the 13th?
There was a piece of my hair cut out in the middle of the night. That means his fanboy, he's not just watching me, he's coming into my home.
A woman is dead. Did she die on my hands?
Keep your doors locked and your gun loaded.
I'm so sorry you had to die.
But that looks awesome. Can't wait to watch it. When, Brandon, does it come out?
Friday, October 22nd. I can't stress that enough, Leo. Hash marks all on the wall, like written in grease pencil, just going down, ticking the days.
So one of your roles was Friday the 13th, part 5, I believe, and so obviously you must have done the con circuit, and with us going to cons, we know there can be definitely some very rambunctious fans.
Very diplomatic of you, Leo.
I try my best.
Mazel tov. You nailed it.
Where did you get the inspiration from this? Was there, did you hear a story from a con, or was it
Well, actually, I was on the phone talking with my producing partner, Jill Paul Rysick, and he was asking me about horror fans and conventions and what it was like to go there. Were there ever really any scary moments? And I said, really, I haven't had any scary moments at the conventions. Horror fans, by and large, are just a lot of fun. They, love horror movies. They love to, dress up for Halloween. They're fantastic, really. And anyway, he said, well, come on. Is there ever been a kind of spooky moment? I said, well, not actually at a con. But I mean, there've been a couple where you're kind of like, okay, I need a little more space, but not like anything terrible. But I said, I did have a couple situations over the internet and on my personal phone where messages were left. One sent me a message that said, wouldn't it be cool if you died in real life like you died in Friday the 13th?
Oh, wow.
I didn't think that would be cool at all. I love horror movies. I love being silly, all of that kind of stuff. I love making horror movies. I love playing in the blood, but that's all make-believe. That's dressing up for Halloween and pretending you're the axe murderer when you really teach Sunday school, That's totally different than what we're talking about there. And so the next one came, though, was even worse because it wasn't on Messenger on Facebook. It was on my personal phone. And just to set the mood for you, I was in my office. It's late at night. I have French doors with no curtains on them, so it's just the glass. And I live out in the woods. And I have one light on, and I'm writing. And I get a text. And it's... someone says, I'm watching you.
Oh, no.
And then I get 3 more texts, and it's basically The person is claiming to be Jason and that he's there to kill me. And both of the situations, I blocked the person. And then nothing else came of it. So it was probably somebody trying to play a practical joke. But, yeah, not so funny. I know. And so my producing partner went, "That's our movie." And I was like, no. I don't think so. Oh, no. Well, that's real life. That's scary. I'm thinking pretend monster who pretends, not something that could be real. But after about 4 or 5 nights of really thinking it over, I was like, okay, this scares me this much. It can definitely scare other people with this. This is our movie. Yeah. And so I called him back and I said, let's do it.
Awesome. I mean, not that you went through that experience. That's terrible. Everyone take note. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. We don't find it funny. It's not. Yeah, no, not at
all. I do absolutely agree with you in regards to I've been to a number of horror conventions myself. Never on the other side of the table. Like, no, give me space. Like, I'm the schmo that's like, sign my photo, thanks. But everyone I've ever met, like going all the way back to my first convention, which was not that long ago, all things being equal, I have found that the horror community, much like any other fandom, really, is very, very open for the most part. Like, it's you have gatekeepers and weirdos, but they're more fringe than anything else.
Right.
This is a group of people that if you walk into a horror convention and you're like, I'm not exactly sure about too much, I kind of know a little bit about this, you will be guaranteed that there's going to be someone within earshot that hears that and gets excited because now they get to help this person find some new horror stuff. And
it's so true. It's so true. I'm telling you, when I go to the conventions, 99% of the fans, they are so respectful, so kind. They are thoughtful. I mean, it's not, if you're not involved in the horror community at all, it would be easy to go, ooh, are these scary people who want to look at all that blood and gore and stuff? And it's like, no, they're really fascinated with how the special effects work.
Yep.
That's your average horror fan. Loves Halloween, wants special effects. And of course, Halloween's all year round. That's a true horror fan. There's no such thing as just Halloween season.
I can't agree more. And when so I've been going to cons for a while, and we've had booths at them as well. And there's definitely a total difference between a horror con and like a Comic-Con. Comic-Con, you do get more of the gatekeeper, on the Comic-Con side, oh, you like DC? How could you like DC? Not as much, but the horror community is it's amazing how nice they are.
The thing about it too is horror is very much like science fiction in regards to the fact that it's very capable. And the people within it are very apt at holding up a mirror to a lot of the things we see in society.
Right.
That's part of the reason why more allegorical stories tend to resonate more with people, and that becomes your everlasting classics.
Right.
Both of those things, science fiction and horror, their fans are very dedicated, and it actually works on many, many levels. And I think that you find just as many people who are into the technical side of it that also love that storytelling aspect, because ideally what they want to do themselves is marry the two and tell a story themselves. And that's really what horror conventions boil down to. It's so much love of everything around and the desire to partake even in that small portion of it. But given the chance, they would jump at a larger scale, not presentation, but like I said, involvement. It's incredible. I felt so welcome the first time I stepped into a horror convention. It was insane. I had no expectations, but that was great.
Right. I agree.
but you do get weirdos. Like, it happens occasionally. I mean, I was a weirdo with a couple of friends of mine, and not even like the kind of creepy ones. We walked up and we saw someone from another Friday the 13th movie, actually, Amy Steele, and she was at a convention. We talked to her for a few minutes. She was really nice, really personable, really affable, and then I was like, oh wow, and she was like, oh, you looking at the photos? Let me know which one you want me to sign. And I was like, can I get this one from Walk Like a Man with Howie Mandel? And she was like, in the middle of the horror convention. All right, so you are the nicest weirdos I've met all day. It's like, I'll take it. If that's the kind of weirdo I'm going to be at a convention, beats the other kind every time.
Right.
Man.
You hit the nail on the head too, and it's like you're reading my mind. I was going to liken it to, because I'm an old fart, liken it to like the Star Trek conventions of like the 80s. It's definitely the same type of crowd. It's,
yeah, and what one of the things that appeals to me about 13 Fanboy is that sort of metatextual involvement. Obviously, these are the only movies I had. Which, first of all, I was like, oh, if only he had the Care Bears movie, this would all be different. but
then he'd be going around assaulting everybody with hugs.
I digress. But the fact that like so many of us over the years, over the decades, have incorporated so many of these different movies, but this franchise especially, into like part of who they are. It's almost synonymous with quite a few people's identities, just in so much as how they love it, how they love the story and the execution. And I always enjoy when movies touch upon that, like, they're aware of this thing and how it's affecting what's happening now.
Right.
And I find those to be some of the more interesting ones that I go to again and again. Some examples, like, and here we go, the same genres I'm talking about, horror and science fiction. Galaxy Quest is one where we're talking about like Star Trek science fiction, and Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Another one's very well aware of what it's doing and the shifts within it. And while I was watching the trailer for this, I was like, that is going to be my double feature. I'm going to watch 13 Fanboy followed by Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. That is going to be my Halloween night like twofer right there. And like, I just love the feel I get from it. It's so much fun. You're in on the joke essentially with the camera, and nobody else is aware of what's happening. It's the absolute best parts of every single one of the slasher movies.
Nice.
It's great. I cannot wait. Like, can you tell I'm excited?
just a little bit.
I'm so glad. That's what I want.
Now we want to remind everybody that it is coming out October 26th. That is a Friday.
22nd.
And it's the 22nd.
22nd.
Listen, everyone. Leo just said October 26th, and he's absolutely correct if you subtract 4, because the actual date is October 22nd.
I think he did it on purpose to razz us.
Coming this Friday, October 22nd, 13 Fanboy on VOD and physical media. Just remember it.
And theaters.
Oh, and theaters.
And theaters, yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about the cast that's in it. We mentioned Dee Wallace, which we had her on earlier. Corey Feldman, Kane Hodder, Judy Aronson, Lara Park Lincoln, Deborah Voorhees, CJ Graham, Gabrielle Stone. With having these, and the concept of the movie, did any other actors have personal stories? Of something similar or a odd issue with a fan that might have kindled their acting on the movie.
Right. Well, a couple of the people had some issues with some fans. Actually, a few. First, Adrienne King. We discussed having her become a part of the film, and she was interested initially, but after reading the script, she said she had had a stalker, and apparently it was a very serious situation. I had never spoken with her about what exactly happened. She said one day with a bottle of wine in her that she would tell me, because otherwise she won't talk about it. And but she said it was way too close for her to feel comfortable with it. But then you would think that, okay, one, right? No. Laura Park Lincoln, who is also in the film, she had a stalker for 6.5 years.
Whoa.
And Judy Aronson also had a stalker. Interestingly enough, though, only one of them, which was Laura Park Lincoln, that really was directly related to being a horror fan. Adrienne King, the one thing she did mention to me, she said they weren't a Friday the 13th fan, but they did find her through the Friday the 13th movie. So, and then, or that he did. And then with Judy Aronson, it was actually somebody from one of the TV shows when she was working on something with Aaron Spelling. So interesting, though, you know, that 3, it's not that, I don't think it's that uncommon, particularly for women, but of course it happens with men too, to have a stalker at one time in their life. When I was in high school, I had 3 boys who kept following me around, you know, in their car, tried to run me off the road, leaving very, very threatening messages in my mailbox at home. And this was back before any kind of stalking laws. So basically the cops told me that they could do nothing until somebody got hurt, which wasn't exactly comforting since I was the one going to get hurt.
Yeah, the exact opposite of comforting, I'd say.
Yeah. So, you know, and then when I was a Playboy bunny, it was really bad then. I can tell you that at least 5 different times I had to lose somebody on the road to get home while they were trying to follow me. One time was particularly creepy. Was I saw somebody that I normally would see at the club, and he was always very nice. So I assumed that he lived in the neighborhood. Said, "I well, hi." I said, "I didn't know you lived in the neighborhood." He said, "Well, this is embarrassing. I've been following you."
Oh, wow.
And I tried to play it very cool. Inside, I went, "Holy shit." I'm scared to death. And then I went, "I see. Well, lovely to see you. Bye." Went in my house, locked my door very fast. And it was like, holy crap. And I was actually, that was the moment when I was very careful to watch behind me. And yeah, very, very carefully. And I did. I had to learn how to drive so I could escape somebody following me.
Wow.
Yeah. Very weird. So, but that's, I don't think that's an uncommon story for someone, you know, a woman.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that it is likely a common tale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is most men are absolutely amazing. I think men are just lovely, lovely creatures. But unfortunately, there's a very small segment that's very, very busy.
Busy, indeed. Yeah.
I just want to touch on something real quick. Now, I know you mentioned it was the Playboy Club. Did you spend any time at the mansion, or did you get to visit?
I did go there. Wait, was it once or twice? I went there. I know once. Just once. I liked it. It was fun. It was interesting. A little too wild for me. You know, it was, just a little bit too wild for me. But I mean, it was interesting to see. And I remember that, you remember the father from 8 is Enough?
Yes.
It was really funny because both he and I left early. I was like, this is getting a little wilder than I want to be involved in. I was kind of like, oh, not lovely to meet you all. I just think I'm going to head on home.
Well, the reason why I brought it up, we are in spooky season, and there was actually a news article the other day that it came out that somebody, one of the former Playboy bunnies, is claiming that the mansion is haunted.
Oh.
And I was going to ask if you had any experience there.
Absolutely not, but I would be cool.
Yeah.
Did they mention like specifically who it was haunted by, or just
no,
general?
really, the hauntings did not come up at the party.
It's so weird. This
I
place
did
is
meet a
haunted.
porn star who they said he was a foot long, but that's about it. It was
Look,
more
she's-
along that kind of chatter. No ghost talk.
Wowzers.
Wowzers is right. That's when the woman goes, no.
Alex says, amazingly, I had a dude follow me last Halloween. It was surreal because he dragged himself like a damn zombie. Interesting experience. Would not do that again.
0 out of 10 stars. Do not recommend.
Yeah, it's kind of like those people that dress up as
No,
clowns and just like hang
creepo.
up in areas.
Oh.
Man, and like here I am. I went to a horror convention in Fairhaven, Massachusetts 2 days ago, and a young woman walked by me, right, and she was wearing a dress, and it had like a design all over it. And we're at a horror convention. It was a black dress with white design, and I have pretty good vision. I just couldn't make it out, and because of the scene, I figured like, oh, those are bats maybe. But and then the last thing was like, no, they had to be butterflies. And one of my buddies was there, Pat Leo from usually this show, and he was like, no, those are definitely bats. Those are definitely bats. And then she like still kept walking by, and I was like looking, and then she turned the corner, and I was like, oh no, I just spent like way too long staring at that girl as she walked around the corner. I may have to leave. And they're like, you've been here 10 minutes. I'm like, and that may have been 9 minutes too many. I don't know what to do now, guys. And she came back around the room, and I saw her, and I was like, excuse me. Like, she came to where I was. I was standing at the table, and I was like, excuse me, miss, real quick. Those are butterflies on your dress, right? And she was like, yes, they are. And I turned right to Pat. I was like, I told you. And I turned. I was like, when you walked in, we were debating on what the design was. So if you saw me especially like leering at you, that wasn't it. I was just trying to figure out what that was. I'm sorry. And she was like, I honestly had no idea you even looked over that way. I was like, perfect. I love that I outed myself. Fanrific. But like, I get super anxious about any stuff like that. And to think that there are some guys that just like live in that friggin' neutral zone. Yikes.
Yep.
No, thank you.
So I wanted to bring up, and we got about 10 minutes left. The production of this, it looks like some of this was filmed at cons. Was it filmed? Was there any?
Actually, yeah. Interestingly enough, we had to, for the part where the people, the actors from Friday the 13th and D and stuff, we actually created that ourselves.
Oh, wow.
But then after it was over, we were going to go to a con and get some footage from the con to bring the two together. And COVID hit. I mean, immediately after we got hit with that. And so the cons were shut down. And so we weren't able to. So Janice from Dead Meat had some footage that was something that we could use. And so he gave us permission and we wove that into it. But we didn't actually get to go to an actual horror con, which for the actors and the dialogue and stuff, that would be very difficult. It was much better to go ahead and recreate that part. But we needed a little bit more from the cons. And we could have done more in our section, when we were doing the other, but we had no idea what was going to happen. We didn't know we couldn't go to a con. So we wanted it to look very authentic. So we wanted to go that direction. But I think it worked really well. I think it melds together nicely.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm pretty sure part of the reason why Leo's asking the question is because it did look
good. Yeah.
Yeah, you might have actually been able to do exactly what your plan was. So great job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So this was originally an Indiegogo. How was your experience with that? Is that something that you would think you would pursue again in the future?
Possibly. For me, it was super important to do the Indiegogo because I had been asked for so long by fans to do something that would bring the other actors back. And I felt like, okay, if I'm going to do this, fans need to be involved all the way around. Plus, we're talking about a fanboy. So I brought them in where they could have their name in the film, where they could come and be an extra on the set, where I had competitions where they could submit their artwork, they could submit music. I have artwork from fans, I have music from fans, I have all different kinds of things where I brought them into it, because this is a film for the fans from me. It's a gift. So how could I do it and not? If I did, we're looking at doing a follow-up on this. If the fans really love it and accept it, and we do well enough with it to warrant doing a second film, we will do a second one. And I probably will go ahead and do an Indiegogo again, but maybe not quite as extensive, but just to maybe for a very short period of time to give the fans a chance to have their names in the credits or something like that, since, they were such a big part of this. It's a huge undertaking. So I don't know that I'd go quite to the extent I did this last time, but we certainly would be looking, to open it up to fan submissions. Oh, I gave fans an opportunity to audition too.
Oh,
so yeah.
That's awesome. That's
and I'll definitely open up for that sort of thing too.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of auditions, and I know a lot of people on the network here, especially like Patrick and stuff, love to try to get into movies. Where was this filmed?
Mostly it was filmed in Lincoln County, New Mexico, which was mostly in Ruidoso. That's where Dee Wallace's house was at. And but we also shot some stuff in a town in Lincoln County that's called Carrizozo, and also in Nogales, New Mexico. So we shot pretty much out in the middle of nowhere, except for our handful of shots from LA. And because some of our characters were either visiting LA or they lived in LA. So like Judy Aronson was supposed to be in LA. The house was actually in Ruidoso, but then the outside of the house that we used, that I picked up in LA.
Very cool.
Yeah. My brain just went.
Yeah.
there
You
for a
okay
second.
there, Leo? Do you smell burnt toast? Everything gonna be okay, buddy?
Yeah, it's a long day. I started a new job and my brain has been mush. It's just so I apologize for that. What I was going to ask is, with this movie coming out this Friday,
October 22nd.
October 22nd.
In theaters, VOD, and physical media.
Yeah.
Not yet on the physical media.
I keep screwing it up.
Later, but
I'm
we
just gonna
are
add
coming
things
out.
now. Okay.
We are coming out with physical media. Yeah.
Awesome. So the true fans, they're going to watch it on VOD this Friday and then pre-order the physical media because we're all collectors as well. Matter of fact, I hinted to my wife that there was a special box set that just came out that Amazon had on sale, so she pre-ordered for Christmas. But I was going to ask.
Really keeping the secret alive there, huh?
It's the Indiana Jones on 4K, the box set.
Well, at least it's movies you haven't seen before.
Yeah, just a couple times. Oracle says, "Hey gang, I met Deb at Flashback Weekend. She is awesome. When is 13 Fanboy coming out? The trailer looked good."
All right, hold on. Are they fucking with us?
Probably.
I'll answer the question. It's this Friday, October 22nd. In theaters and on VOD. You will be able to pre-order the physical media at some point in the near future.
Yeah. And if it's something you want to see at the theater, which a lot of us do, and you're a little leery because of COVID, you can rent out the theater as well. A lot of places allow you to do that. It's about $200 and you can get the theater.
20 of your closest friends.
Yeah.
Or go by yourself, whatever.
So I was going to ask, with this, wrapped up and coming out, what's next on your docket?
There's a couple things that I'm looking at. One, we are I'm looking at doing a ghost story. Really intense. It is a true ghost story.
Nice.
I'm still working out the details, and we'll see if we get the rights to it. And if so, I can tell you all more about that. And then possibly part 2 on this or something else. I can tell you that if I do nothing but horror films for the rest of my life as a director, I will be thrilled because I absolutely adore them. It is so much fun to make. It's like doing magic, a magic trick, a sleight of hand. You do this angle, and that angle, and then you add this and you add that little blood and then a little stab and then this. Then you add the sound effects and then voila, magic. It looks like something really scary happened when we were all being really silly on set. Oh, okay. I got to tell y'all one thing. Remember, and you want to see how silly we get on set. Do not leave the movie until the very end of the credits. The music goes away. It's over. It's done. You think nothing is going to happen. But there's one little thing at the end if you hang out and wait.
Awesome.
Wait for it. Got to be patient.
I like it.
Nice. Definitely wait for that Friday. So I just have to ask, and because this is a different role for Kane, we were on set with him for a horror movie, and he scared the ever living shit out of us because he stays in character when off set. But with this, where he's playing himself, how was he? Like must have threw him for a loop a little bit.
He was fantastic. He's a practical joker. He liked going up behind people and doing fart noises.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. Awesome. I think what people are really going to be excited about is one of many things, but is to see Kane's performance in this.
Yeah.
And each person I wrote and sculpted the character to include something that was true to them. And Kane loves playing the silent monster, but like any actor, he would like to be able to do a little more variety. And he has been turned down many times for a role that he would have been really great at because they couldn't see beyond the silent killer.
Yeah.
And we have that conversation and talk in the film. And in this film, he definitely gets to show his acting chops. And at the end of the night, after we finished the really intense scene, I got a big giant hug from that mountain of a man thanking me for that chance. It was pretty amazing. Yeah.
I hope this really, does that for him because, I've seen a lot of his stuff and it is true, he is just a silent killer, but there are a couple, roles that he had that, he did a phenomenal acting job in.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
There was one, I can't remember the name of it. It was actually filmed here in Massachusetts. He was like it was like a ghost in the house from like the past. Yeah. And it was like, it was right by the water too. I will remember the name after the show.
That sounds right.
But yeah, it is just, a lot of his period scenes, him dressed up like this old colonel and stuff. And it was just, it was awesome. But yeah, we need more Kane, outside the mask,
Right.
Definitely. Dexter was saying, watch the trailer for 13 Fanboy. It looks so awesome. This is one film I will definitely support. As an award-winning horror screenwriter, I strongly believe that horror is indeed the greatest genre in the world. All said.
It's pretty damn awesome. That's for sure.
Totally. Well, we're going to wrap things up. Is there anything else you would like to mention, before we close up shop?
Just to remind people to go to 13fanboy.com and you'll see a now playing section there. And it will we also have some virtual theaters. We have several VOD type platforms and we have theaters as far as Chicago, Minneapolis, LA, Orange County, New Orleans. So it's we've got quite a few, and I know it won't hit everybody's place, but we're super excited about it, and hope those who can go to the theater do, and others rent at home.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So where do you like fans interacting with you on social media?
The easiest place is going to be Facebook. I have a horror group that's called Deborah Voorhees Sheer Horror. Please join me there. I'm almost always at 5,000 on my personal page, but I do have it open to the general public, so you can follow me there. I have a 13 Fanboy page where I put up kind of some of the latest information. I am on Twitter, and Twitter I'm starting to actually get a serious handle on just in the last couple of months, and so I'm just starting to get a decent following there. So there is one for 13 Fanboy and myself personally. And then there's Instagram. I'm not so good at that. I still can't figure out how to share someone's post. Can you even share a damn post on that thing?
I don't think you can.
I don't know that you can. And I spent way too much time trying to figure that out. And it's so frustrating. And so, but I have my personal thing on there, and I have the thing for 13 Fanboy. And I try to remember to put stuff up there, but I forget a lot of the times. But I did have somebody promise to help me learn how to do it. So maybe I'll get that one there. So the other ones are the better ones.
Awesome. And we got a bunch of the links in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And definitely check out 13 Fanboy. And I agree, Instagram is a pain in the butt, especially with like a business account. Like your personal account, there's a button to add a post, but the business account, you gotta jump through hoops just to do a post. It's stupid.
I'm terrible with that stuff, man. Like it's all just based on photos, and like, oh yeah, so why don't I, one of the least photogenic people on the face of the planet, go onto Instagram? Meanwhile, like,
I feel the same way. I don't want to just sit around taking pictures of myself.
Yeah, a selfie stick? You mean the wand of Narcissus? Okay. But my wife, she went to school for photography, so like Instagram is right up her alley. And
right?
I boiled it down to like, you realize that you spent like thousands and thousands of dollars to essentially be good at using Instagram.
Well, if you're a photographer, I think it's probably a perfect one to do. Yeah. But then how does anybody share your stuff if you go like, this is a cool image and you want to share it?
You have to believe that people will see it.
Yeah, it's all about hitting the hearts, and it's
right.
Hashtags. You gotta find the right thing.
Big, yeah.
Oh, I'm just learning about the damn hashtags.
Good luck.
I've just started doing that in the last couple months to get 13 Fanboy, because they told me it has to be trending with the hashtag. And I'm like, why can't you just have 13 Fanboy? But I guess I kind of get it, because it's all one word that way. Otherwise, it's searching for 13 and Fanboy.
Yeah.
So that I get kind of get. But
it plugs into an algorithm. So like they're saying with the trending.
So now I got to remember to do the damn thing.
The more people that see that and then do it themselves, it'll all lump it together in one giant subject. So you get to see, if you click on it, it'll bring you to just a whole slew of all the posts that have been adding that hashtag. So the more you see that popping up independently on other people's stuff, the better you're doing.
Cool.
Well, we'll certainly use the hashtag. And by the way, the movie with Kane, it was filmed in Newport, Rhode Island, so far away from Massachusetts. Like
I don't know, that far away. You're further away from me than Newport.
Beautiful town though, but it was filmed in one of the mansions there, and it was The Haunting of Alice D. If anybody wants to check it out.
Oh, cool! I love ghost stories.
Yeah, same.
So tell me, do you use hashtags somewhere besides Facebook and Twitter?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Is it on YouTube and stuff like that too?
Matter of fact, a little hint in YouTube: put your hashtags first in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Just 3. It takes like the first 3, and you'll actually see them appear underneath your video.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to go and fix my 13 Fanboy trailers and add that to it.
Yeah.
Same with Vimeo?
Vimeo, yeah. Vimeo uses, just about everywhere uses hashtags. But it doesn't hurt to put it. Yeah. But also use, with YouTube, definitely use the tags as well. And then there's tools you can use to research tags to figure out like what words link and work better with others as well.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Totally.
Like you should write the word bang if you're talking about a gun and not the word onomatopoeia. Got it.
Got it.
Oh, so people don't know what that is. That makes more sense.
Right.
Okay, Brandon, where do you like people interacting with you?
I have a group over at Facebook called Powers Combined. It's a geek group for everyone, all kinds of fandoms across the board. Our number one rule there is don't be a jerk. We're there to have a good time, share some info, have a few laughs, share some memes. If you violate that rule, you will be booted summarily. And aside from that, I'm on Twitter at Brandon's Powers and Instagram at This Brandon Has Powers. And you can see me every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Dorkening podcast.
There we go. And for me, just Google Leo Pond. You'll find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which, but I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. About 40 shows on a network. A lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. And actually, in about 3 minutes, we're going to be going live again. We're going to be talking about Freddy versus Jason versus Ash on Splash Pages, the Comic Book Club. Just to stay on this page, and you will see it just shortly. And with that, we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Take care.